From Dr. Speak Now, this is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. In this program, the 2026 World Cup is coming to American cities, and the impact could last for decades.
Hey, I'm Anna.
And I'm David. In this program, we look at one big news story and the vocabulary in the headlines that will help you understand it.
You can find all the vocabulary and headlines from this episode, as well as a worksheet, on our website, drspeaknow.com.
So let's get into the story.
The 2026 FIFA World Cup is being hosted across 3 countries, the United States, Mexico, and Canada. It is the first time the Men's World Cup has been played in the United States since 1994, more than 30 years ago.
11 American cities will host matches this summer. The list includes some of the biggest cities in the country: New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Dallas, Seattle, Boston, Philadelphia, Kansas City, San Francisco, and Atlanta.
For most of these cities, this is the first time they have ever hosted a World Cup game. The preparations have been enormous. Stadiums have been upgraded, transportation systems have been expanded, hotels are fully booked for miles around every venue.
The economic impact is expected to be massive. FIFA and city governments project that the tournament could generate billions of dollars in revenue across the host cities, from tourism, hotel stays, restaurant visits, retail sales, and broadcast rights.
But it's not just about money. Experts say hosting the World Cup changes a city's identity. It puts a city on the global map in a way that very few events can. And our first headline is about this.
This headline is from USA Today, an American national newspaper.
The World Cup is coming to your city. Here's what that actually means.
And that headline again from USA Today, the World Cup is coming to your city. Here's what that actually means.
This headline uses the phrase, what that actually means. David, why is the word actually important here?
Great question. Actually is an adverb that signals a contrast between what people think and what is really true. When a headline says, here's what that actually means, it's telling you, you may have heard about this, but let us give you the real story.
Right. It's a very common technique in American journalism. The word actually creates a sense of correction or deeper truth. It promises the reader that what follows is more honest or more specific than the general idea they already have.
So in this headline, many Americans know the World Cup is coming to their city. They've seen the signs and the promotions. But what that actually means digs into the real impact. The road closures, the crowds, the economic boost, the cultural energy.
You'll hear actually used this way constantly in American English, in headlines, in conversation, in presentations. It signals, pay attention, because I'm about to correct or deepen your understanding.
For example, you think working from home is easier. Here's what it actually means for your productivity. Or everyone talks about going viral. Here's what that actually means for a small business.
We've had actually as a contrast signal, used to introduce the real or deeper truth behind something. For example, the doctor explained what the diagnosis actually meant for his long-term health.
This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. Today we're talking about the 2026 World Cup and the enormous impact it is having on American host cities.
Hosting a World Cup game is not simple. Cities have to meet strict requirements set by FIFA, the organization that governs global soccer. Stadiums must be upgraded to international standards. Fan zones must be created. Security plans must be approved.
And the costs are significant. Some cities have spent hundreds of millions of dollars just on preparation. The question many local residents are asking is straightforward. Will the investment pay off?
Economists say it will, but not always in the ways people expect. The biggest long-term benefit is not the money spent during the tournament itself. It's the global attention and the infrastructure improvements that last for years. And that's what our next headline is about.
This headline is from the New York Times, an American newspaper.
How 11 American cities are preparing for the biggest sporting event on Earth.
And that headline again from the New York Times, how 11 American cities are preparing for the biggest sporting event on Earth.
This headline uses the word infrastructure. It comes up a lot in the full story behind this headline. David, can you explain it?
Sure. Infrastructure refers to the basic physical systems that a city or country needs to function. Think of it as the foundation everything else is built on. Roads, bridges, airports, public transportation, water systems, power grids, and communication networks.
Right? When a city prepares to host a huge event like the World Cup, upgrading infrastructure is one of the biggest challenges. You need roads that can handle millions of extra visitors. You need airports that can manage thousands of extra flights. You need public transit that can move crowds quickly and safely.
Exactly. And the great thing about infrastructure investment is that it doesn't disappear after the tournament ends. A new subway line built for the World Cup will still be there in 20 years.
Infrastructure is used in both political and everyday English. You'll hear politicians talk about infrastructure bills, government plans to invest in roads and bridges, and you'll hear city planners talk about aging infrastructure, systems that are old and need repair.
For example, the city invested heavily in transportation infrastructure before the Games, adding new bus routes and upgrading 3 major train stations.
We've had infrastructure, the basic physical systems a city or country needs to function, like roads, transit, and power. For example, the government announced a $2 billion plan to rebuild the country's crumbling infrastructure after years of neglect.
This is Learning English from the news from Dr. Speak Now. We're talking about the 2026 World Cup and how it is transforming American host cities.
Beyond the physical changes, the World Cup is also having a cultural impact. Soccer, or football, as most of the world calls it, has been growing fast in the United States for decades. But this tournament could be the moment it truly breaks through.
Major League Soccer has expanded dramatically in recent years. Youth soccer participation in the U.S. is among the highest in the world, and the U.S. men's national team, playing on home soil for the first time in 32 years, is generating enormous excitement and national pride.
Some experts are calling this a watershed moment for American soccer. A watershed moment is a turning point, a moment after which things will never be the same. And here's another headline.
This headline is from the Wall Street Journal, an American financial newspaper.
The 2026 World Cup could generate billions for American cities, if they're ready.
And that headline again from the Wall Street Journal. The 2026 World Cup could generate billions for American cities, if they're ready.
This headline uses the verb generate. David, can you take us through it?
Sure. The root of generate is the Latin word generare, meaning to produce or create. When something generates something, it produces it or causes it to exist.
Right. In this headline, the World Cup is expected to generate billions of dollars. That means the tournament will produce that money. It will bring it into existence through economic activity.
Generate is used in many contexts in English. You can generate electricity, produce it from a power source. You can generate interest, cause people to become curious or excited. You can generate revenue, produce income.
It's a very versatile word. And notice the if they're ready at the end of the headline. That conditional if is doing important work. It's saying the billions are not guaranteed. Cities have to be prepared to capture that economic opportunity.
For example, the new marketing campaign generated a huge amount of buzz on social media, leading to record sales in the first week.
You might also hear generate jobs. The new factory is expected to generate 2,000 jobs in the local economy.
We've had generate to produce or cause something to come into existence. For example, the annual food festival generates over $50 million for the local economy every year.
That's it for this episode of Learning English from the News. We'll be back next week with another news story.
For more English from sports, business, and real American life, subscribe to Dr. Speak Now and visit drspeaknow.com.
Talk to you soon.
See ya.